You know, y'all know I done hung with Porsha. Porsha like fine. I don't think that shit ain't real. But guess what? Good storyline. I just don't believe her coming from the household she was raised in, a Christian family, her grandfather, that she would literally go and do something like that. Because baby, if I ever brought about my man and she dated my man, that's like me dating.
Simon's previous connections raise critical worries with 3 separations and a background marked by treachery. It's justifiable why many would scrutinize his reasonableness as an accomplice. Moreover, his history of having various youngsters with various ladies adds one more layer of intricacy to the circumstance. These elements, joined with the speed at which his relationship with Porsche advanced, add to the suspicion encompassing their association. Fallon's response is totally justifiable given the conditions. While she didn't talk openly about the circumstance broadly, the couple of times she tended to it caused critical show. One eminent occasion was the point at which she communicated mistrust that Porsha, whom she had never seen as the kind to take somebody's man, would become engaged with Simon while he was still lawfully hitched to her. This additional more consideration regarding what is going on, saying, "Do I feel like I confided in her enough?" Without a doubt, I didn't think she was the kind of lady who might come in and plot on a lady's better half, in no way, shape, or form. I didn't get that by any means from her at that point. She likewise guaranteed that Simon had told her while they were hitched that Porsche had laid down with one of his cousins for a Rolls-Royce. Fans were anxiously guessing the way in which this new storyline would unfurl in the forthcoming time of the show. In any case, Fallon decided not to expose herself to the dramatization and chose to leave the show before the new season debuted. Notwithstanding hypothesis, she denied leaving because of dread, attesting that her choice to exit had been in progress preceding the unfurling circumstance. This takeoff added one more layer of interest to the developing account. Notwithstanding alerts from fans, Porsche was profoundly enamored and continued to wed Simon in November 2022. They celebrated with 2 extravagant functions, one in Nigeria, Simon's nation of origin, and one more in the US. Their relationship is by all accounts flourishing with Porsche in any event, uncovering that they were effectively pursuing for a child, which would be Simon's 6th kid and Porsche's 2nd. It appears Porsche is making her revisitation of the new time of genuine housewives, yet with a massive change. She'll utilize her new hitched name, Porsha Gwobadia, rather than Porsche Williams. This choice mirrors her obligation to her new relationship with Simon and imprints a new section in her life. Fans will probably be anxious to perceive how this new powerful unfurls on the show. It seems like the circumstance with Porsche's significant other has gotten ugly, much more so than his association with her companion not long after their separation declaration. Presently, there's a muddled experience with the US government that might actually prompt his extradition. Yet again, this is positively a significant and concerning improvement that might incite Porsche to reevaluate her inclusion with the show. It's essential to explain that union with a U.S. resident doesn't consequently ensure invulnerability from legitimate issues, particularly on the off chance that there are claims of deceitful exercises encompassing the obtaining of residency licenses. Assuming Simon acquired his impermanent residency grant through sketchy means, it could without a doubt endanger his movement status, no matter what his conjugal status. These are serious charges that could have huge ramifications for himself, as well as his loved ones. Simon's inconveniences stretch back to the 80s, and keeping in mind that he might have thought he discussed outcomes, Uncle Sam had different plans. He's having to deal with a large number of penalties that make the possibility of getting U.S. citizenship appear to be unlikely. Court records uncovered his checkered past, including various bombed endeavors to turn into a naturalized resident, regardless of being educated regarding the explanations behind his refusals. His set of experiences of misrepresentation and personality control, Simon kept on seeking after citizenship, adding to his legitimate burdens. The reports uncovered Simon's appearance in the U.S. in August 1982 on a guest's visa. Be that as it may, inconvenience emerged when he lingered too long while endeavoring to expand his visit legitimately. Confronted with the approaching danger of removal, he decided to withdraw deliberately, gathering his packs and leaving in December 1985, around 3.5 years after his visa had terminated. Simon couldn't avoid the appeal of the U.S. and returned only a half year after the fact, this time with another guest's visa substantial for a very long time. Notwithstanding, History rehashed the same thing as he exceeded again. Be that as it may, this time things took a hazier turn as Simon engaged in bank and credit misrepresentation, landing himself in major trouble with the specialists. He didn't deny the charges, taking ownership of them and conceding. Regardless of his earlier difficulties, you could anticipate that somebody in Simon's position should hide out. Be that as it may, in January of 1989, he wound up in binds again, this time for unapproved utilization of a vehicle. Quick forward 4 months to May 19, 1990, and Simon was back in a difficult situation once more, this time having to deal with misrepresentation penalties. It appeared inconvenience followed him like a shadow, with his thick movement document doing practically nothing to hinder him from jumping recklessly into lawful offenses. He seemed, by all accounts, to be gathering crimes like vastness stones. Notwithstanding confronting migration examination after his extortion disaster in May 1990, Simon stayed undaunted from participating in additional obscure arrangements. Only 8 months after the fact, in January 1991, he was once again at it once more, pulling off another MasterCard trick. To add to his inconveniences, in April 1991, a movement judge requested his extradition, with Simon being actually taken out and expelled from the U.S. by WAC 1992. Back in 1988, Simon marginally changed around his personality and slipped into the Exceptional Horticultural Specialist SAW program under an alternate name. Curiously, he advantageously excluded his rap sheet while applying. This plan demonstrated effective, and he got an impermanent occupant license, which later moved up to extremely durable inhabitant status. Adding to his karma, he accepted his sparkling, long-lasting residency card in April 1992, only 3 weeks after his other personality confronted removal. With this brilliant ticket close by, he reappeared the U.S. effortlessly. Until December 2016, Simon had appreciated relative dependability when he chose to seek after naturalization. He probably felt certain, having enjoyed something like 20 years in the U.S. with an apparently spotless record, in some measure on paper. The public authority got straight to the point. They gave Simon a resonating no and dismissed his application, highlighting his unlawfully gotten brief inhabitant status as the justification for their choice. It probably been a brutal, rude awakening for Simon, who probably accepted he had tracked down an escape clause to guard himself for quite a long time. Notwithstanding this misfortune, he stayed tireless and didn't call it quits right now. After 4 years in December 2020, Simon took a stab at naturalization in any event, coming to the meeting stage. He probably had his expectations up, figuring the subsequent time would be the appeal. Notwithstanding, the public authority stays immovable, precluding him again because of his sketchy, extremely durable residency status. This time, there was an unmistakable purpose for their choice: the subtle move with the SAW program. By utilizing an alternate character, Simon had fooled his direction into transitory residency, helpfully overlooking his beautiful past and lawful difficulties. Mr. Simon's ingenuity is genuinely astounding. Fans have been communicating their shock and leaving a wide range of remarks, enthusiastically anticipating the show that makes certain to unfurl. Do you figure Porsha will be okay in the event that she winds up in prison? Drop your contemplations in the remarks underneath.